It's not very good.
I would definitely put it in the top 10.
So good.
It's kind of a mess.
A great work of cinema.
Train wreck.
Beyond a slasher, beyond a jump scare.
More thought has gone into the story.
Respecting the source material.
Extremely gory, extremely violent.
The lighting, the sets, the costuming.
Extremely scary.
Well staged, well shot, well acted.
I saw the comedy for what it is.
Relentless.
It was just really, really good.
This is pretty cool.
Another reason why I think it's
So good.
We do have a system, and it works.
Hello, welcome, and Merry December to all of you guys out there in podcast and YouTube land. You have reached Johnny Has the Keys, a podcast where two guys get together. We talk about the genres of horror and science fiction, key elements that have influenced a particular topic of the week, and then things that topic may have influenced moving forward, all the key things about it. Sometimes we do deep dives. Sometimes we just ramble on because we're unscripted and we like it that way. That's the way we like it. We've been doing it for quite a few years. If you're new to us, we'd love to hear how you found out about us. Was it through social, a friend? Did you see a huge billboard somewhere? Leave us a comment down below and also subscribe if you like us and want to hear more, or go to the website where we've got 7 seasons of this, all working together there. My name is David. I'm here with my good friend Tim. Tim, how's it been going? We've had a little bit of a hiatus, but we back.
We is back, and it is December. Oh my God. Merry Christmas.
Well, not yet. No Merry Christmas yet. I haven't even shopped for one thing. So
That sounds like you every year.
Yeah.
Wow. We usually start these episodes with a icebreaker topic of what we've done in our genre week. And mine, unfortunately, was not so great. I did some more slow folk horror with a movie called Hagazussa. You might remember I talked a week or so back about a movie called Star of Acre, which was set in England and had a lot of promise because it had Matt Smith in it, but it bored me. This one bored me even worse. This one is a foreign film. I mean, not an English language film. I watched it specifically because it was compared to The Witch, which is clear they're trying to capture some of that. Who's the guy that directed The Witch? Robert Eggers' energy. And no, it's not even close. It's a German/Austrian film, which makes it a slog with subtitles. So I'm sure you would just love it. And you know, I love both slow burn films and foreign films. This one is just not one of them. It's written and directed and stars people I've never heard of. The synopsis is a 15th century alpine goat herd named Albrun endures isolation and persecution from villagers who deem her a witch. After her mother's death, Albrun grapples with haunting visions, societal rejection, and her own unraveling psyche. This movie gets 93% on Rotten Tomatoes with 27 reviews, which is one of the reasons why I watched it. Nope, no way. This movie is 70 tops. The acting is fine. Some of the cinematography is fine, but the script and the, quote, atmosphere are what hinder it because it is not good.
Wow.
And I hate to kick off December with a bad horror movie, but I did. So we'll have to rectify that a little later.
With that title, there you go.
Hagazussa.
Hagazussa. It's not as crazy as that one you did a few years ago with the girl that walks down the street with her dress out on the bus during the day, nighttime, whatever that long freak.
We're doing that this year. Whoops, I just gave that away.
Oops. But great. Okay.
It's
cool.
a girl walks home alone at night.
Yeah.
I
What a
think
great
that's the
title.
name of it. A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. That's great, man. That's an Iranian vampire Western.
That's what got it for me. It's an Iranian vampire Western. Oh, okay. Sure.
It's well, you'll see why when we watch it. But
That's
wow, so
a
there's a
sub
Christmas present for all you fans. Now you know we're going to cover that movie later this
that's a
season.
sub genre there. My God, Iranian vampire Western. I was actually pleasantly surprised. My list keeps increasing, especially working with you and your suggestions and everything else. And I keep trying to knock things off of it, but then I add four more. But I finally said, no, 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 I've got to go back. And people have suggested it for literally years, and I haven't seen it. And I feel like I'm failing as a cinephile and as a horror appreciator
Oh,
by not watching this. So it is horror or suspense more than horror, and much more to me mystery than suspense, yada yada. It's Martin Scorsese's only quote horror movie, and it's Shutter Island. I'd never seen that movie.
I saw it, but it's been a long time ago.
So I delved back into it, and I was pretty impressed. It's still Scorsese, and I don't think he has a real grasp of horror. He's not Del Toro or Ari Aster or anybody else, but he is a great cinema craftsman. So it is a well-told story, but very much more Hitchcockian than anything else. The cast is phenomenal in it, although the first like 20 minutes, I hated DiCaprio. It felt like his accent was inauthentic. It felt like he was really weird. But by the time you get like halfway through it, he's great. And I wanted to do like some research and say, did they film like all the first part first and he just hadn't gotten the character down yet? Because it really doesn't work. The whole going to the island and he's playing that bad Brooklyn-y accent noir police officer, with federal agents. We don't have to mess with this. And I'm like going, why are you? The accent doesn't sound right. No, but by halfway through, I'm invested. He's great in it. And just once the breakdown and all the craziness starts happening, I don't want to give anything away if nobody's seen this, 20-year-old movie or whatever.
I was going to say I don't remember it, but I know I saw it.
Two FBI agents go to a remote island that has a criminally insane hospital on it because one of their prisoners has escaped, one of their top mental patient crazy people. And as they get there, things start seeming weirder and weirder and stranger and stranger. And then it has a huge, like, Sixth Sense kind of twist near the very end, and then an ending.
Is Guy Pearce in it?
I think Guy Pearce is in it. I'm trying to remember because there was
Who's opposite? What's his face?
Mark Ruffalo. It's Leonardo DiCaprio and Mark Ruffalo.
Okay, I like him.
And then Ben Kingsley is the warden or the doctor that heads up the prison. Max von Sydow is his assistant.
Oh, wow. That's a good cast.
It's got the guy you like. Jackie Earl Haley is in it.
The one that revamped Freddy.
Yeah. Ted Levine is in it.
Ted Levine is James Gum.
Yeah, who is always terrifying no matter what he does.
He's in the Mayfair Witches.
Oh,
he plays a prominent part in the Mayfair Witches.
But yeah, I agree with everybody who said this is a great mystery and pseudo horror movie. It's tense, it's action packed, it's really cool. It's got a good story to it. I think it still holds up even now, just because it is a period piece. It's very early 50s in its time frame. So yeah, I shuddered on the island.
You shuddered on the island. Wow. So as far as segues, I'm going to go with foreign films. I watched a really bad one, and I think this one's a really good one.
Okay.
Today, we are covering Nicholas Roeg's Don't Look Now from 1973. Mm-hmm. This movie has got a lot of history to it. Some of it's controversial. It was, I guess, misunderstood in some cases early on, and it's now interpreted to be one of the best horror movies out there, especially in that time frame of the 70s. Nicholas Roeg is not really known for doing horror movies. He's known for casting rock stars in movies like David Bowie in The Man Who Fell to Earth and Mick Jagger, and I think he did some movie with Mick Jagger. Before we move on to a background on the film and its source of the written source, I'll do a little synopsis. Basically, you have John and Laura, who have a son and a daughter of the age of that girl behind me, very young. And the daughter drowns in an accident, and they are thrown into some deep grief. They end up taking a trip to Venice, Italy, where he is commissioned to rebuild a church. I think they never really say what he is, but I guess he's like an archaeologist that specializes in restoration. Wouldn't you say historical restoration, maybe?
I think he's a restorative architect, not archaeologist. I don't think he.
Oh, did I say archaeologist? I meant architect. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrong word. He does not study dinosaurs. He studies churches. Anyway, while they're in Venice, they're having dinner one night. They come across these two sisters. One is blind and creepy looking, and she's psychic. And she predicts some things, like she knows that they're experiencing grief. She also predicts some bad things for John in his stay in Venice. Later, Laura goes to the sister's house because she wants to know more about the daughter, if they can do a seance and she can speak with her daughter. And they do, and it makes her feel really good. And she goes back and has some pretty fantastic sex with her husband, John, as a result. So it picks up their relationship a bunch. But then things just start spiraling a little bit. They get a call that their son, who is in some kind of school back in England, has been in
academy.
Yeah, he's been in an accident. So Laura gets on a boat and goes back to England. John has a near-death experience with some scaffolding that is pretty terrifying, in my opinion. And he starts to think, well, maybe that's what the woman was talking about as far as he needs to leave because he is in danger. But then he thinks he sees Laura with the women on a boat. And he gets confused. He goes to the police. He has them out looking for them, thinking that maybe the sisters are dangerous, until he ends up calling the school where his son is and talks to his wife, who is there. So now he's like totally confused. He's like, I thought I saw her still here, but she's not. What am I seeing? And meanwhile, there's a subplot of a serial killer that's killing people. He sees a body removed from one of the canals in Venice by the police that's the murder victim of this serial killer. But he keeps seeing a small figure in the background wearing a red coat running around, very similar to what his daughter was wearing the day she died. So after he talks to Laura, she's coming back. He is, I guess, just walking around. He starts to see the red coated figure and he pursues it. No, I take that back. I left out a significant part. When he realizes that his wife is not in the country, he has had the police have apprehended one of the sisters, and he feels bad about it. So he goes down there, gets them to release her, and offers to walk her home. As he's leaving, the psychic sister has another premonition saying, get him back, he is in danger. And it's too late. He's already left. Meanwhile, his wife arrives there looking for him. They send her after him. He's in pursuit of the red-coated figure, follows the figure into an alley, and it turns out to be a female dwarf who is scary, and she takes out a meat cleaver and kills him. And then he realizes as he's dying, and this is alluded to in the whole film, that he is psychic because the sister early on says your husband is psychic. That the funeral and the boat that he envisioned his wife on with the sisters was actually his own funeral. And that's the end of the movie. So it's got a little bit of a twist to it, but I don't know how I would describe this movie other than it reminds me of those gritty 70s movies that we love, like John Schlesinger and William Friedkin. It's got that gritty look to it, and it's just, it's shot on location. So a lot of it's catch it while you can. It's not a lot of people refer to it as an artsy movie, but I would refer to it as almost guerrilla filmmaking in some places.
Yeah, that's the feel of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think last time I talked to you, you said you didn't even know what this movie was. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me?
I'd never heard of this movie before.
I cannot believe you've never heard of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, not at all. I'm a Julie Christie fan. I like Donald Sutherland. I did like Man Who Fell to Earth, which is Nicholas Roeg's other movie, although it's weird.
It is weird.
I think this movie is weird too. I was not as impressed with this movie as I wanted to be.
Oh yeah? I think you need to see it again. I think it grows on you.
When I did research on it, I was just amazed at the critical response and the love and the stuff. As a matter of fact, I wrote 2 or 3 down. This is a masterful literary exploration of grief and trauma, incredibly visual style with foreshadow and a strong sense of loss. This makes us examine the cinematic media itself. And I went, I didn't get any of that. And obviously I've lost total touch with film or cinema in general. I did like the 70s elements of it because it is. You said it perfectly. It's a very Friedkin, very early 70s film stock, lensing, the way they would still do some of the 60s, push zooms up onto somebody's face or whatever to show drama or stuff. Lots of handheld camera because I'm assuming he's on location and he's just got to run over here and let's get this shot really quickly. But I was just confused for the whole movie. He likes telling, and like you said, maybe watching it again, I'll appreciate the cinema more of it than the storytelling, because the story to me was very difficult to follow and motivations didn't seem to work to me. And I kept trying to placate myself by saying, oh, well, that's because they're in grief. He's trying to show that they're in grief, and that's why. But we're in grief, so we're going to have one of the most graphic sex scenes I've seen in a long time. And then the next scene, we're going to go back to being in grief. After we've done this, it feels like a 45-minute frickin' sit at the restaurant scene, which opens the movie after the death of their daughter. It was bizarre. And he did stuff I know intentionally, but I don't think it achieved what he wanted. Like during the bathroom scene, he intentionally violates the line. Cinema speak for if you have a person on the left and a person on the right, and you're cutting back and forth, you keep them on the left and the right. You don't switch the camera over to the other side, and suddenly the person looks like he's over here. And he was doing that in the bathroom scene, in addition to the mirror shots of showing Julie Christie's character through the mirror past the blind lady and all that. So I was really conflicted by the end of it because I really sat there going, I need to like this movie. I should like this movie. It's got good cast. It's obviously critically acclaimed everywhere, but I don't understand why there's not more of the serial killer. So we understand what the dwarf was at the end. We get no explanation for any of that whatsoever. I never got that he was psychic. You just said it, but I never got that at all.
Oh, she says it in the first scene.
Okay.
Well, and it also starts with him looking at the slide and seeing things with the slide at the very beginning when he's talking to her and he's getting ready to go on the job for the church. The slides of the stained glass window. He's getting
Right.
like flashes then too.
Well, he
They
sees
they
the one.
insinuate it for sure.
He says the person with. He sees the somebody in red
Mm-hmm.
sitting in the pew, and then it bleeds over
Mm-hmm.
into it. That's the credit
Mm-hmm.
sequence. And I guess later on, when like because the Julie Christie character says, for some reason he just got up and went running out, and that's when he goes to get his daughter who's drowned and
Mm-hmm.
everything.
But it
And
then he sees when he thinks that Julia Christie is back in Venice with the two women, he sees them on a boat
correct,
and they're dressed in black. And then later at the end of the movie, it's his funeral and they're on the
right.
boat. It's the same
And
shot,
I
basically.
got that one at the very end,
Mm-hmm.
but there wasn't a clairvoyance to that to me for some reason. It just seemed like it was really erratically edited. That's what threw me off. And so motivations didn't seem to work for me. Literally, my notes, like every 3 line is, what am I missing? What is going on? I don't understand. His apartment is closed now. Why is the apartment closed? Why, what? And I've got,
Oh no, that's very, very European. As soon as they did that, I was like, that reminds me of when I lived in Greece. They just close when they want to. They don't care if you're buying anything or not. They're like, siesta, get out.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that didn't bother me at all. It's just a European thing. But if I had any complaint about this movie, it would be that there's a little bit more about the serial killer because it is alluded to very vaguely. You know, you see them pull a body out of the harbor or out of the canal, and then I think there's mention of it, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
I even took notes. So the first time is their boat is cut off when they leave the church and they're going to the other church or going back to their apartment. Their canal is cut off because the police have it sequestered and the guy is up on the balcony, the same guy that talked to him later, the police, who I thought near the end of the movie was the actual killer until they showed the door. Obviously, it took place, somebody was murdered in that, off that window balcony. Whatever. And then the second time he sees the whole fishing the woman out of the water thing. And then he sees the person in, or a little person in red 2 different times, like a little girl. And you think it's a little girl because
you
it's
think he's getting visions of his daughter
of
in the
his
red
daughter.
coat? Yeah.
And then the last time is when he literally chases her over the boats and everything and goes up and gets his throat slit in a really 70s way.
Yeah, it's very gory. That's another thing that reminds me of Europe too. Is that especially in Greece, in some sections of town, you're in these narrow passageways, and the buildings just go straight up, and you can get lost so easy because everything looks the same. And there's a scene where they get lost at the beginning, and it's hilarious. I was like, I have been there so many times, and then there's him chasing the dwarf at the end and not necessarily getting lost, but getting, I can't think of the word, isolated so that she can kill him.
Yeah, she
So
leads him
anyway, but
away
before
from
we keep going on about the movie, because we'll probably talk scenes, I'm sure, a little bit of background. I didn't know much about Nicholas Roeg. I talked to you briefly before we recorded this as to what had he done. He's known for the Walkabout is the name of it, which is, I believe, an Australian film. He is actually English, though. He did The Man Who Fell to Earth with Bowie and a movie called The Witches, I think, isn't that with Angelica Houston?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. I've never seen it. Before that, you know how we talk about how people always come from like Roger Corman? Well, he came from Roger Corman, but he also came from British people as well. He was the unit photographer on Lawrence of Arabia for David Lean.
Oh, okay.
But he also was the cinematographer on Mask of the Red Death for Roger Corman.
Oh, okay.
But he went on as a cinematographer, and that's what's so unique about this movie, because we were talking about how it's very guerrilla filmmaking. There's not a lot of setup photography, and yet he was a cinematographer for Francis Truffaut on Fahrenheit 451, which we've covered on this show, and John Schlesinger, who I mentioned earlier in Far From the Madding Crowd. So he's got like this huge pedigree as far as photography. So I think that's another reason why a lot of aficionados like this film, is because they know he's got an eye for stuff.
Yeah, they kept calling it a masterpiece of cinema, and I went, I'm just not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
I do think you need to watch it again. It's written by Alan Scott, who was a frequent collaborator of of Rogues. But it's based, and it was written also by Chris Bryant, two guys, but it's based on a Daphne du Maurier story
Yes.
of the same title. It was in, I can't remember what, it was a short story in the same book The Birds was in, which is another movie we've obviously covered.
Mm-hmm.
When du Maurier saw the film, she wrote Nicholas Roeg a letter congratulating him on making it and saying that it was great. So she really liked it as far as his interpretation of the couple and the grief and all that.
Roger Ebert, it's on one of his greatest movies of all time list.
Right, right.
So, yeah.
I've got a lot of the dialogue is in Italian, and because it's set in Venice, and they deliberately did not put subtitles in there to confuse you, which I thought was really smart. I like that. It makes you feel like you're in another place where you don't understand stuff.
Yes, but that added to my, I don't understand what's going on.
But you're
Because,
supposed to
again,
see more than hear.
but if your one character's constant reaction is befuddled or frustration, I don't understand, then whatever they're saying makes no sense and doesn't matter, because his reaction is going to be the same, which is, I don't know what's going on. And that seemed to be except for the beginning when he is so authoritative in his Italian.
When he's on job and on the work site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that threw me off. Then later on, when he's meeting, like, I guess the landlord ladies that had the original apartment for the blind lady and her friend who decided to move for some reason that I don't know, you don't know, he seems to struggle and not understand what they're saying. And the same way with the priest later on, and the same way with the other street vendor. And I was like going, okay, I'm the same way. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I think that's what it's supposed to be, though.
Yes, I agree with the frustration coming from, I don't understand what's happening, neither does he. I just wasn't savvy enough to get the clues, I don't think, of clairvoyance, of he's seeing things that really aren't there, of he's actually seeing a serial killer but misrepresenting it as his daughter. And I think it could have been, to me, even got in my notes, one of the fixes could have been the scene with the detective, because they were speaking English for part of that. And when he's in the office, and
I
he's
think the
sitting
detective suspects him.
he's sitting 1.5 miles away from this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been interesting if the detective had mentioned more of the serial killer details.
It would have. I agree.
Like, you claim you saw a woman in red. Well, this case over here has a woman in red. That would have helped me to link them together. And
In this viewing, I've seen this movie maybe 3 times.
Yeah.
In this viewing, I interpreted that scene as him thinking that John might be the serial killer, and that's why he didn't say much.
I definitely got that out of it.
Right, and I think that's why he didn't say much at all about it.
Well, then we need an earlier scene where he does.
Well, let's get some scenes.
Okay.
What scenes did you like or not like in it? You like the sex scene, I know.
The sex scene was weird, but it was weird just because of the editing. Again, anytime you do a sex scene and you want to do jump cuts all the time and time cuts, it just seems weird. But also in research now, that was the first thing they filmed. That's when Sutherland met Christie, actually, and it was the first thing they filmed. And,
a little awkward, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, and the cameras were so loud that Rogue was literally screaming for them to do stuff like, put your hand between her legs and stuff like that.
Put your face in her crotch. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure it was odd
Yeah.
to do it and show intimacy. But I think he edited it with the music. It kind of works. And I just think the placement is weird because we have this death, then grief, weird restaurant, sex scene, weird church scene, and she leaves. And it just seemed weird placement.
That's what reminded me of the 70s too, is the fact that they would throw sex in the middle of grief. But that shit happens. They wouldn't stop having sex just because their daughter died. So,
right. But if we talk about memorable scenes, then yeah, definitely I think the sex scene is probably memorable from this movie. I think not the opening scene with him looking at the slides and her reading the book, intercut with the daughter playing, but him running out, his finding the body and the breathing,
and that was a little bit of clairvoyancy right there too. Is he knows something's wrong. He runs out there without having heard anything.
Correct.
Right.
But I think that was filmed and acted really well, falling in the mud and everything. And then ending with her screaming. That was a good scene. As far as I thought it was Blair Witchy, but the murder scene is
because she's not facing him. She's turned around.
Yeah, she's in the corner, turned away from him.
That's a very good key. Yeah, that's good.
But it's a very good 70s murder scene. Even down to the end of it with his foot kicking up off the raised stained glass, and then you see the blood coming down the wall. So I thought that was good.
Back to the sex scene, I'm sure you saw in your research that it was extremely controversial at the time. Did you not?
No, I saw that several people cut it. Like when it was shown in Italy, they cut the sex scene. When it was shown on the BBC, they cut the sex scene.
Yeah, if you go to Wikipedia, there's a huge section about the controversial sex. It was very controversial at the time. First, it insinuates cunnilingus, which was never done on film yet. That was like the first time it was ever done. A lot of places cut it. Rumor got out about it before even the film came out, and Warren Beatty went to like Venice and said, "You need to cut this scene out with my girlfriend," because he was dating Julia Christie at the time, and he had heard about it. So there was a lot of controversy about it. So I was like, I got to see this. I can't remember it. And I watched it, and I was like, really? That's nothing.
Well, comparatively.
Right. Compared to today, it's nothing at all. But it is weird how they do the intercuts of other events happening in between, which is, to me, just a weird 70s-ism experimentation, so to speak.
Yeah, it looked like a trippy party montage.
Yes, exactly. Like it would have been in Easy Rider or something along those lines. But another scene that I really like is, and I had forgotten about it, and I literally jumped, and it's that scaffolding scene where he almost dies. I was like, damn, that was so realistic looking. That was some good practical stunt work, especially on Donald Sutherland's part.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. It looked real. And the way he shot it with the very high angle and then the sides and everything looked really, that was a well done scene.
It was definitely more real than the wig he's wearing.
Yes.
That's a bad haircut for Donald Sutherland, for sure.
Yeah, but he had it even in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
And he had it in Animal House too, and all of these movies were in the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess he must have had a receding hairline or something. I don't know why he had to have that curly hair. But anyway, Julia Christie is stunning. She looks gorgeous in this film.
Oh, yeah.
But she looks gorgeous in anything. And I guess that's why Warren Beatty had to go defend her from being... Well, there was a rumor that the sex was real and that it was not simulated. That's one of the biggest rumors about this movie, is that sex scene really happened, even though it didn't. So that's part of the controversy there. The scene with where he gets killed at the end, I think it's iconic. When she turns around, I could see that on a reel at the Oscars or whatever.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah.
because it's a big reveal that you're not expecting, at least at the time. You're not expecting it. I expected it, obviously, because it's an old movie. But
We don't get any closure out of it. We don't find out who this dwarf is, what this dwarf is doing, why this
no.
dwarf is doing it, what happened. Did she get caught? Yeah, whatever.
And I don't know if I think I have read the story, and I wonder if they really did it by the book. And maybe that's why there's so little, because it is a short story. It is not it's not a novel. So I wonder if that's why we don't, it just ends, basically.
Oh, comparison to the,
Right.
yeah. I think I did like the scene with the police officer. I thought that was a good scene in this. And I've got in my notes, pretty good seance. I'm not sure what I liked about it or what I even remember about it.
It's just between the three women, and Julia just wants to see or talk to her daughter, basically.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go because he doesn't believe in it. So he goes to the bar and drinks, waiting for her. But from what I remember, though, the seance was just, she's happy. She sees you and she's happy. And John may die here.
Yeah, at the end, there's the premonition. It's not her you need to worry about. It's your husband you need to worry about. He needs to leave. This is not a good place for him. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I think that's good enough as far as scenes. I think we hit the major ones. The sex scene's major, the seance is major, and the reveal at the end is definitely major. If anything else comes, we can hit it as we go. I can talk a little bit about cast. I don't have a lot because it really just has two principals and some foreigners. Julie Christie, of course, Laura. For some reason, they've got her billed over Donald Sutherland. I'm not sure. So Donald, to me, is really the lead in this movie. But Julia, we know her from Dr. Zhivago. I know her from Demon Seed, which I watched recently and talked about a few episodes back.
Yep.
Demon Seed is not a great movie, but it's very memorable if you were a kid in the 70s. And then, of course, she's in Fahrenheit 451, which we covered on the podcast a couple of seasons back, where she plays two characters. And that was controversial and weird as well for Francis Truffaut.
Yeah.
But as far as genre stuff, the only thing I have of her is Demon Seed. Donald Sutherland, of course, we covered him a few seasons back when he was in the Hunger Games. And then we also covered him last season in Mr. Harrigan's Phone, which was unfortunately one of his last films because he has recently died. I know him from Clute, which I watched not too long ago, but I also know him from what you mentioned, the remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is a great film. I can't believe we still haven't covered either one of those yet, Mr. Science Fiction guy.
And we might do him as a double.
So that's who we have as John and Laura, the leads. Hilary Mason plays Heather, the blind psychic woman. I did not know this, and I'm assuming it's because of her connection to this film. But Charles Band and Stuart Gordon really liked her and cast her in movies like Robot Jocks and Dolls, those 80s movies that we used to catch on videotape.
Yep.
Of course, Stuart Gordon went on to do some great little interpretations of Lovecraft films, including Reanimator. The other sister was played by Clelia, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Montagna. Wendy, she's clearly Italian. Massimo Serrato played the bishop. Renato Scarpa played the inspector of the scene that you were talking about. He didn't speak English. All he did was read the lines without knowing what they meant.
The policeman?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
They did this because they felt it added a sinister quality to his character. To me, I just thought he was suspicious of Sutherland, but I think it's hilarious that he was just literally reading lines and had no idea what they meant. And then Sharon Williams plays Christine, the girl that drowns in the beginning. She's a very memorable looking child in that picture, especially behind me. One of the things I found unbelievable about this movie is how the parents just pick up and go to Italy and leave the other kid in England.
Well,
Because I
but
was like, what happened to the boy?
he's in a military school, or he's at an academy. So, I mean,
Right.
that's very European.
It is, but it's a little confusing when they pick up with the story after the drowning. It's like, what happened to the other kid?
Hmm.
And we didn't talk about that scene, but that scene's really well done too, where she's running around the water, he's on the bike, has the accident, and they keep cutting back and forth between the kids and the parents. I
Yeah,
thought
I
that was
saw in
really well done.
trivia that they actually had issues because they had filmed all of that, and then they went to film the submerged scenes, and she got hysterical and couldn't
Mm,
film it.
yeah,
And so it took like three girls, I think, to actually film that scene.
yeah.
So, yeah, which is understandable. Hey, let's take your 8-year-old and hold her underwater.
Adelina Poirot played the dwarf. Don't know who she is or anything about her. As far as awards, the Saturn Awards. What's that called? The Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror
Hmm.
Awards. I can't remember the Saturn Awards. They nominated it for Best Horror Film. It did not win. However, even though it was ignored by the Oscars over here, the BAFTAs nominated it for actress, cinematography, director, film, editing, soundtrack, and actor. So the BAFTAs nominated it for like all of the major awards, and it won for
Hmm.
cinematography. As you mentioned, it's included on Roger Ebert's greatest movies list. I read this morning where he originally gave it a 3 and then 15 years later went back and changed it to a 4 because he said he rewatched it and decided against some things he thought originally. So, like I said, I
Hmm.
think it takes multiple viewings.
Well, I also saw that it's like, it's like in the top 10 on the top 100 British films list. So as far as, and that says a lot, I
It
think.
does. It's also on the 1001 movies you must see before you die list.
There you go.
And we don't have many of those these days. Most of the time they're reduxes when we get one, but this one is actually on that list. So yeah, you're in the minority, Dave.
I am. I am.
But that's all I have as far as cast and awards. Did you have any other trivia besides the drowning trivia?
And let me double check, but I think that was it, trivia wise.
I've got that red and green are present in almost every scene in this film. And I thought that's not really that unusual, is it?
It's how it's used. It's predominant. I assume that's part of the cinematic masterpiece. Part
Hmm.
of it is how he uses the color, especially the color red through this movie.
Okay. I've got bouquets of keys, so we can do whatever if you're, unless you
Yeah,
have something
I'm ready
else you
for
want to say.
keys. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest one, well, there's several big ones, but one of the biggest ones is Hitchcock. This is a very Hitchcockian thriller. And not
Yes.
only is it
Very.
Hitchcockian, there's a tie between Hitchcock and Daphne du Maurier because he did The Birds, which is another one of her famous short stories.
Yes. Well, and also 39 Steps, because when Julie Christie's character screams, it cuts to the drill going into the church wall.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the train in 39 Steps, which is
It's a
bringing
train
people into the
whistle.
train.
Yeah.
And also, it's very Vertigo feeling to me because we're following this one guy who's in his own solo pursuit and not trusting his own senses,
Obsession.
not trusting what he's seeing, obsessed with this over here, has to jump on the gondola boats to try to get to the person, this little girl in red that he's seeing. So, yeah.
And it's a weird crossover of obsession and grief. I don't think there's grief in
Yes.
Vertigo, is there? I can't remember.
Well, it's not grief in Vertigo, it's obsession
It's
because of his
obsession.
mom.
Yeah.
She dies. So, and then you start seeing her again.
In this one, it's grief transforming into obsession.
Yes. Well, and they layer the obsession because at first it's her. He can't figure out where she went and if she's back in Venice, why she didn't contact him. And then he starts seeing the child in red again and starts following her.
And at one point, doesn't he turn around another child that's in red and it's a different child? I think so.
I don't know, but probably. Yeah.
I think that happens too. But I never did understand why it is he would think his daughter's alive and in Venice. I mean, I guess he just feels like he needs to see whoever this is in the red coat.
Yeah, I think that's
This is
it.
who
I
it
don't
is.
think it's that, or he thinks she's a ghost or something. He plays with that too, of him not believing. He doesn't like the church architecture, even though he works in churches. He doesn't want to go to the seance, but yet he's seeing these things that he can't explain.
Mhm.
So he plays with that a little bit.
Yeah. I have the Brood because the dwarf looks like the dwarfs in that movie, very sinister looking, and they're
Yeah.
killers, obviously, in both movies. So,
Oh,
and
yeah,
even Cronenberg said he was influenced by this movie. A lot of people have said they were influenced by this movie.
Oh, yeah. I've got in my notes Ryan Murphy, Ari Aster,
Hmm.
Danny Boyle. All three
Mhm.
have said this movie influenced their views. Even Mark Gaddis, who I really like.
But a lot, well, not a lot, but at least half of the people you mentioned are European.
True.
Yeah. And so, since it is a European film, I'm sure that's another reason why it's held high esteem over there, is more than it is here, probably.
I think The Brood is good. There's another one that I got from online because I've never seen the movie, but Schumacher's Flatliners.
Yeah, I saw that.
He has said the red-coated childlike figure was very important to him. That's why he put it in Flatliners. So.
Yeah. I have The Omen for the scaffolding scene because it reminded me of one of those scenes in a religious setting where a crazy accident happens to kill somebody.
Yep.
It felt like The Omen to me. I was like, ooh, he's in a church and he's about to die.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
Well, and I have the three big ones. I have The Omen, The Exorcist, and Rosemary's Baby, all because of the way they're edited, that film stock that they're using, and stuff like that, where it's set in a church here. Or over here, we've got a mother who's upset about her child and everything. So
Yeah,
I
I get
also
that.
have both Sixth Sense and Schindler's List because of the color red, using the color red for a cinematic motif or storytelling element. So in this, it becomes John's obsession is red, the red coated figure. In Sixth Sense, anytime you see red, there's a ghost.
It's so funny. I have Shyamalan down for Sixth Sense, but mine was because of the twist at the end. I wasn't thinking about the coloring.
Yeah, Twist at the End is another
Yeah.
good one for Sixth Sense. And also Schindler's List, the little girl in red is the
Right.
only color in the movie.
Yeah, I had that as well. Red is used very symbolically in that movie, and it's kind of used symbolically in this movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
While we're on red, I've got whatever that we covered it, and I think I repressed it a few years ago. The Dario Argento movie, Red
Deep
Matter,
Red.
Deep Red.
Yeah, that's a
This
great
movie
movie.
had a lot of feeling of that movie to me. Very foreign feeling, very, not foreign meaning I'm watching a foreign movie, but foreign like I'm in a location that feels foreign, that feels uncomfortable, that I have to figure out stuff in. And the really, really chalky red blood, which is very 70s.
It's very 70s, and Deep Red makes perfect sense because it's Italian, and this is set in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it totally. I think this is a better movie, but I don't dislike Deep Red because I like Dario Argento.
Correct.
So I have that during its UK release, it was shown as the main feature of a double bill with The Wicker Man, which also came out in 1973. The two movies share thematic similarities, notably that the feature protagonists both believe they are pursuing a missing child.
True.
But I still don't get that Donald Sutherland's after a missing child when she's dead, but he thinks he sees her. Whereas the
Again, I
Woodward
think
guy
that
is after a woman. I mean, after a girl.
I think that should have been played up just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Him seeing these things and thinking he's either so grief stricken he's going crazy, or there's something paranormal going on that he doesn't want to believe in.
Yeah.
But we don't
Oh,
get enough of that element, I don't think.
I forgot. I missed one that I had earlier, and it's Poltergeist because
Oh
that girl
God, yeah,
looks like Heather O'Rourke.
yeah.
It's like the
I
same
would give you
blonde
that.
haircut.
Hmm. I've got Ken Russell as well, just because his movies are probably more art house than this, but
He
there's
loves
still
color.
that color
Hmm.
close up, going from close up to close up on people, and this very weird intercutting editing, montage editing. You're showing a love scene, but then you're cutting to these weird cutaways.
It's almost like subliminal, only it's intentional,
Yes, yeah,
where it's a flash cut, but you actually see it. It's not subliminal. Yeah, I know what you mean.
and stuff that is shown but not explained. Like John's character is talking to the cop. The cop is listening to his story, but looks out the window, and we see the blind woman and her lady friend
Sister.
Walker,
Yeah.
sister, and the cop acknowledges it, but then doesn't say anything about it, do anything about it, and we don't know what the hell they're doing and why they're
Right.
there.
It's just like a coincidence that he's actually seeing the people that the guy's talking about. It's very strange.
Right. And again, to me, that's a very Ken Russell sort of thing.
It's
That's
also a very Dario Argento.
Dario Argento. Yeah, yeah.
I can see that. I have, well, speaking of Dario Argento, the plot and the Italian setting bear similarities to Giallo films, which I've talked about. Giallo
Hmm.
films are like seedy murder movies of the 70s that took place in Italy. And in particular, there is one called Who Saw Her Die, which I wanted to watch, and I never had a chance to see it before we recorded this. But it starred George Lazenby, who did Bond in one of the Bond movies, and Anita Strindberg as parents coping with the loss of a drowned daughter. So there's a lot of similarities to a movie that is probably much more similar to a Dario Argento movie called Who Saw Her Die, 1972, the year before.
Interesting you said Lazenby, because I've got James Bond. Casino Royale has a scene in Venice, and I think he's chasing a girl in red.
She is. I wrote that down too.
I know he's chasing someone. I just don't remember if she's in red or not, but it's in Venice. And I think, however, I don't. I
She
will
is.
say
She
that I
is in a
can't-
red dress. Hmm.
Okay. I cannot think of another movie that shows Venice as well as this movie. You even see the Doge at one point. You see a lot of the churches. You see the canals, the gondolas, how everything works.
It's
Really,
realistic.
it's
Because
very realistic.
I have never had the desire to go to Venice. It just looks like a big sewer to me. It does. I love Southern Europe and I lived in Greece, but I have no desire to go to Venice. I just think I don't think I'd even be comfortable sleeping there.
Oh,
It's just
well,
gross.
if you see a little red-headed dwarf running around, I wouldn't sleep. But
Another movie that you probably didn't think of that is a big key to this movie is Ordinary People.
oh, totally can see that. As soon as you
Yeah.
said it.
And it
Oh,
stars
yeah.
Donald Sutherland. And it is
Again,
about him and Mary Tyler Moore dealing with the death of a child by drowning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Death of a Child by Drowning. That's a big one. I've got Hereditary, just because the dwarf deformity kind of reminded me of the kid. And then
Oh,
when
she does have she has an odd appearance in that movie.
And then when
can't-
I researched it, it actually, Ari Aster has actually acknowledged that this was a key influence on Hereditary.
Yeah, he did. A lot of directors have come out and praised this movie. Another one you mentioned, Danny Boyle, says it's a key influence on all of his work. It's amongst his favorite films. I was amazed at how many times people have seen this movie, especially directors were like, I've seen that movie more than any other movie.
Yeah.
Lynn
So
Ramsey cited it as an influence on We Need to Talk About Kevin, which is on my list. I've never seen it, but it was produced by Nicholas Roeg's son.
oh, okay.
So his son's in the business and produced a Lynn Ramsey film called We Need to Talk About Kevin, which is a horror movie. I'm pretty sure it's about like a killer kid,
Hmm.
but I don't know anything else about it. And you mentioned Ari Aster, you mentioned Joel Schumacher and Flatliners.
Yeah. I
In
caught
the
that offline, but yeah.
right, I did too. And it says he drew explicitly on the red-coated childlike figure having a character terrorized by a child wearing a red coat. Coincidentally, the kid being tormented is Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland's son.
There you go.
There are some weird ties to this movie too. And then the last one I have, if you don't have any, do you have more?
Stand by, stand by, stand by. The only
Sure.
last one I have you probably wouldn't get, but I definitely got every scene it was shown with Doctor Who, because
Oh,
Sutherland is wearing a long purple trench coat with a multicolored scarf,
it looks so weird. Here's a picture of it.
and it just looks freaking weird. And I
Yeah,
don't
it is very
understand
strange.
why he wears it. It's just because he wears it the whole freaking movie.
He
And
almost looks like a clown. Yeah.
yeah, it's very Doctor Who looking to me.
Now that you mention it, it's much more Doctor Who looking than a clown. That's so
Yeah.
funny.
So,
I have the movie that Steven Soderbergh did. Where is it? Out of Sight, the one with George Clooney and
George
Jennifer
Clooney?
Lopez.
yeah.
And it's because of the sex scene. He did it the same way, where he intercut weird other scenes in the scene, the sex scene between Clooney and Lopez.
Okay.
So he kind of lifted that as well. The intercutting technique is what they say.
Mm.
Um,
All right. Well,
hang
there's
on.
that. I wish he had counterpointed it enough so that in the murder montage, it would reflect back on that, if that makes sense. Because I didn't put in my scenes, the murder montage was pretty good too. While Sutherland is being hacked, we're cutting to her chasing him, his daughter, the drowning, even the sex scene. I think there's a cut from the sex scene in that montage. And when he's being hacked with the cleaver. So that kind
I'm
of
with you.
reflects it.
I just somehow I lost my view, and I can't find my notes now because if I need to get out of full screen somehow, and I'm having difficulties. Sorry.
Ah.
Talk amongst yourselves. Well, that's all I had anyway. I don't really have any other keys. If you want to sum it up,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I think I like it better than you, but I have a feeling you'll like it better if you see it again.
And I will try. I will definitely try. And for those of you out there who are listening and watching, if you liked it or didn't like it, let us know. What is Tim right or wrong about, or what am I right or wrong about in my confusion of why is this considered such a masterpiece when I think there are much better horror movies? But we would love to know what you guys think. And again, after multiple watches, maybe we'll like it better. If you liked what you heard us all ramble about today, then please let us know down below. Leave us a review on Apple. Leave us a review anywhere. Take the time to just click on 1 star. We love it. It helps us and helps us find other people. If you don't know, we do have a website with all of our past episodes. In addition, we have a Patreon where you can come and support the podcast and help us keep doing this for at least the next few years. And we also have free material there, as well as tiered material with other podcasts and episodes that we've done. But I've enjoyed visiting Venice for a while, even though Tim thinks it's a sewer, and even though I didn't like the movie that much.
Oh, when they
And
pulled that woman's body out of it, I was like, oh, gross.
yeah, well, and that was a very graphic way to do it too, with her upside down
And naked.
pantyhose.
Oh, no, her dress is falling because she's
Yeah.
upside down. Yeah.
and her pantyhose are torn. It's a very Vertigo, very
Silence of the Lambs.
Hitchcockian sort of thing. She's just a slab of meat. But that is an aside. We're going to continue
With our
theme of
haunted holidays theme.
haunted
Yeah.
holidays next week. So it'll be scary again for the next few weeks.
And they're not only just haunted. I was going to say they're all set in the 70s, but actually one's 1980.
Okay. So close to 70.
So very close in theme.
All right. The 70s were haunted. But Tim, and until the spooks come back out, I'll see you then.
All right. I'll see you then.
Bye.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh.
You can't start the car. Johnny has the keys.